Okay, so this lesson is all about solving what's called literal equations. We haven't done this before, okay? So if you look at the think about it, we have 2y plus 3x equals 6. We've never had an equation that had an x and a y in it before. So that's what we're going to learn how to do today. So I'm going to walk you through this step by step. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to circle y and its coefficient. So what does that look like? That's step one. Just circle y and its coefficient. Step two, you need to get rid of anything that is attached to that circle. So get rid of anything attached to the circle. And for this step, you're always going to be adding or subtracting. By adding or subtracting on both sides. Okay, so what is attached to my circle? It's this plus 3x. How do I get rid of a plus 3x? I do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 3x on this side, and I'm going to subtract 3x on this side. I cannot put it underneath the 6, okay? It's got to hang out here in space because the 6 doesn't have an x. You cannot take away 3x from just a 6. If it said 6x, you could do it. But since it's a 6, we're not going to line them up because they're not like terms. Okay? Next step. If y's coefficient is larger than 1, then you're going to divide everything in the equation by it. Everything. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, let's bring down our equation to show you what it looks like. So if I bring this down, these are gone. So I have 2y equals, bring down the 6, bring down the minus 3x. Okay? My coefficient for y is 2. That is larger than 1. So I've got to divide every single thing in this equation by 2. Okay? So this is going to get divided by 2. This is going to get divided by 2. And this is going to get divided by 2. How do I simplify that? Well, the 2's divide out, so this is y. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And this fraction is going to remain a fraction, okay? But I'm going to separate the fraction from the x. So I'm going to say this, all right? Now, this equation is out of order. We have to start now writing our equations in the correct order. So the order is y always comes first, and you always put your letters, your variables, before your constants. So we're going to move the negative 3x to the front, and then we're going to move this 3 to the end, and it's a positive 3. So that's what this equation simplifies to. So when you solve for y, which is what we did, when you have a literal equation, you're not going to end up with just an answer. You're not going to get y equals 4. You're not just going to get a number. You're still going to have a whole equation, but it's going to be written in a really specific way. So what we've just done is we have solved for y, which means we've gotten this y by itself. Sometimes you might have an extra step. So if your coefficient for y is negative, so if this were like a negative y equals, we'd have one more step to do. So I'm just going to add this right now. If y's coefficient is a negative, then you would divide everything by -1 to make it positive. And don't worry, I'll show you what that looks like. Because we'll have some examples like that to make it positive. Okay, let me erase that because it shouldn't be there. So that's how you solve a literal equation. But basically what you'll hear me saying a lot is solve for y, because that's usually what we're doing. So let's move on to the next page, and we'll do the key point and then some more practice problems.